Why should I buy now versus waiting? Welcome back to another episode of All or Nothing in Real Estate. I'm your host, Matt Smith. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means the world to us. This podcast is a movement to give back to this amazing industry that's given so much to me and my family. So your support means the world, and I truly appreciate it. So as always, guys, we have a special guest, Colin, with us. Colin, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, I'm excited for this episode. This is a burning question that every agent is asking right now. Should I buy now or versus waiting?
Yep.
And we're going to tackle that with some tactical, some tips that you can use in your role play, in your day-to-day conversations, so that you can win in this new market.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's very important. Everybody wants to win in this new market. This is a new market. You have to have a new mindset. You have to have new scripts, new dialogues. Just a little tip. Like, here's a mindset shift that I think will help everyone. If you are getting objections of why should I buy now, that's not an objection. That should be an expectation of you. Interest rates have over doubled. They're highest they've been in 22 years. We have half the amount of inventory nationwide as a typical real estate market. There's a lot of changes and a lot of challenges. They should have these questions. That's not a freaking objection. And so we'll break that down on how you can handle that, how we are handling that, how we're having massive success with people that are open to listening to that. And so we'll break that down a little bit later.
All right, let's dive in.
Interest rates are the highest that they have been in 22 years. Buyers should be concerned. And so I'm going to answer this a couple ways. Number one, let's set our expectations as real estate agents properly. When you're talking to a potential buyer, to a potential seller, and they have concerns in this marketplace, guess what I call that? Normal. They should have questions. They should have concerns. Do you have questions and concerns as a real estate agent in this marketplace? Hell yes, you do. And you do this for a living. So you have to set your expectations with yourself. And so be empathetic with them first and foremost, and understand that it is okay that they have concerns. And honestly, they should have concerns. So as soon as anyone says that, my first reaction is, Colin, I completely understand. Interest rates are changing rapidly. There are a lot of changes in the marketplace. So I just want you to know I completely understand and I hear your concerns. Immediately, what is your reaction? If you give me an objection, what is your reaction, Colin?
It's like, oh, well, you've disarmed me because I wanted to fight in this moment. It's like, hey, no, this is not a good time. Don't try to sell me on this. Like,
100%.
Oh, wait, you're agreeing with me? What do I do?
Yeah. So that's step one, right? That's just handling. You can call it handling objections if you want, 101, but this really isn't an objection. You should expect every single person you talk to in today's marketplace should have that concern. That's not an objection. That's just, it is what it is. But that's how you, Colin said a great word, disarm them. And what I mean by disarm them is, it's not a me versus you conversation. It's a, you know what, Colin, I'm on your side. I understand how you feel, and you are right to feel that way. So now let me jump to your side of the fence, and let's work together to provide a solution that works for you, your family, and your needs. Like, that's the intention, the thoughts behind it, right? So now let's dive into the meat of the actual objection. It is, what is it again, specifically?
It's interest rates, specifically
why should I wait? Why should I not wait for interest rates to drop?
Yep.
So again, great question. You could wait for interest rates to drop, but I'm just curious, why would you want to be waiting? So most people try to talk their way out of objection. So what I'm going to do is ask more questions. What makes you think that waiting? So Colin, that's a great concern. I'm just out of curiosity. Why do you think waiting would be better for you and your family? I'm going to ask questions, right?
Right.
So number one, I disarm them. And number two, I'm going to ask for more clarity on their situation, where their thoughts are. There's two important steps that most salespeople forget. Let's go to sales 101. Sales is not about what you say, it's about what you ask. Too many salespeople talk at people, not with people. So I'm going to disarm them. I'm going to normalize their objection. I'm going to let them know I understand how they feel, and they're right in feeling that way. And then instead of trying to solve their problem, I'm going to get more clarity and depth on their actual problem, on their actual concern. So what is their actual concern? They could say, well, I think that I could save money. Hey, completely understand. And maybe you can.
Right.
So at what interest rate are you a buyer in the marketplace? Specifically, what interest rate are you waiting for? Because if they're just waiting for interest rates to drop, there's no number, there's no target, there's no plan. I'm waiting for interest rates to drop. Okay, so if they drop 0.25% tomorrow, if they drop a quarter point, are you ready to transact?
Right.
Well, no, that's not enough. Okay, completely understand. What is enough? What is that number you're waiting for? And why are you waiting for that number?
Because right now it's so vague, it's so open, it could be whatever, and it's avoiding the question.
100%. It's because and agents are scared to ask these questions because most agents, most salespeople operate in vagueness. Most salespeople are order takers. I choose to lead people through this process. This is the biggest purchase or sale of their life. I used to say we don't sell people in our organization. We help them through the process. I've recently changed that language. People don't need sold. Absolutely don't need sold. They don't even need our help in this market. What they need is they need us to lead them through this process in this marketplace. So be the leader that they need. They need to be led. And so part of leading is process of self-discovery. And what is it that you're actually looking for? Lower interest rate is not a number. What is that lower interest rate? What is that number specifically? Well, it's not an interest rate. Like this is the responses you'll get. Well, it's not an interest rate. It's just, I want the market to be better. Okay, what does better look like to you? And what you will find again, I did not solve anything. All I did was ask questions, but now we're getting specific. I'm going to use one of my favorite words. Specificity matters in sales.
Yeah.
So vagueness kills sales. Vagueness is where salespeople go to die. Because if you are vague in your responses, you're scared to ask the tough questions, you can't lead them through the process. So be very specific in the questions that you ask. And again, sales 101 is you base your next question on their response. You want to have a good sales dialogue, base your next question on their response. So their response is, well, I want interest rates to be lower. I want the market to be better. I don't want to overpay for a house, right? All those are valid. Completely understand. So what does overpay look like? What does lower interest rate look like? What is that monthly payment that you're looking for? Specifically, ask those questions, and now I have a specific answer on their problem, and I can help build a plan. Second, this is such a great question that I've studied this one a lot because it's really, really real. With my coaching clients, with our team.
It's probably the biggest question every agent is struggling with right now is how can I be able to help them see why now is a better time
100%.
Than later, and also it not be manipulative. How can it actually be a better option for them to purchase now? Such
a great point. So the third part of this, and I hope all of these aren't this long-winded, but this is such a great one. I want to make sure we break it down in detail. I think too many people in this marketplace operate in vagueness in their answers and their responses. I want to be very tactical, right? And so ask those great questions. But then Colin makes a great point. Maybe it's not best for them to wait. Do you know that? So that question is flawed. That question said, "Why? How can I convince everyone?" I don't know. Maybe I'm paraphrasing, but how can I convince everyone that it's better to buy now than wait? Maybe it's not better for them, but maybe it is. So your job is not to convince. Your job is to gather information, gather intel from them, give them the real education, the real data, not the drama, and help them construct a plan that makes sense for them and their family. As an example, one of my favorite questions in our new online lead generation script, it's the initial lead script. One of the favorite questions, it's LP Mama. It's a version of LP Mama: location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, right? Like that's appointment, right? Like that's a basic script that almost every real estate agent knows of. If not, reach out to me. I'll share it with you. But once you're getting to the appointment, before we set the appointment, we ask my favorite question in scripting. It is, "Hey, Colin, I'm just curious. What is the next step for you in the home buying process?" What is the next step for you?
It immediately goes, I'm not sure.
99% of people have Colin's reaction.
Yep.
And we did not practice this. That was real. Is they don't know. They don't have a plan. What did I just say? People need to be led through this marketplace. But people are resistant to salespeople most of the time because salespeople suck. I love you guys, but sometimes you suck. And so learn from this. Don't sell people. Don't even help people. Be the leader that they need. And part of that leadership language, it's a whole nother language of leadership, is self-discovery. And so asking great questions like, "Hey, Colin, I'm just curious. What is the next step for you in the home buying process?"
I don't know what my next step is. I want to highlight something that you're hitting here because this is so important. You're leading, but you're not telling. You're not forcing. And it could easily say, "All right, this is what we're going to do next." And sometimes there is a time for that.
That's step 4 or 5.
Right. But you're starting off saying, "Well, do you have a plan? Do you opening that option up. So immediately they have to own, well, shoot, I don't have a plan. Do you have something? And you're turning over, they're giving you the keys to a certain extent. You said, do you want to drive? And they said, I don't even know. No, you go for it.
Well, so I love turning over the keys. So one of the analogies I use is we have to drive the bus as salespeople.
Yep.
I'm not asking them to drive the bus. I'm helping them realize and self-discover they don't know which direction to drive in. Mm-hmm. And so they are realizing through these dialogues, through me asking these questions, telling, you said, I'm not telling.
Yep.
Telling is not selling. You guys should write that down. Telling is not selling. Too many salespeople focus on what, like I have salespeople all the time. They ask me the wrong question. Matt, what do I say? The right question is, what should I ask? You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Quit talking so much. Quit talking at people and have a conversation. They're just a person. So ask great questions and you will become a great salesperson. Because to me, I've simplified sales. Sales equals solving problems. Mm-hmm. If you can solve more problems, you will make more sales. But too many salespeople try to solve the problem before they actually understand the problem. How many people in this world are skeptic of salespeople? All of them.
So many.
All of them.
Yeah.
I am one and I'm skeptic, right? Like it's just reality. It's just what it is. So if we understand that's the world that we live in, what if we actually get rid of that skepticism? They have their sales barrier wall up. Our job is to lower that wall slowly, build relationship, build rapport, and get them to self-discover that they need our help. Mm-hmm. They need us to lead them through the process. And you do that through this dialogue that we've just done.
I feel like you answer the question so simply in the sense that it was like, well, how do I get them to understand? And your answer is you ask the right questions.
Yes.
Get to that core. I mean, we could go on a whole tangent on forget money. What's their why behind this?
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. So their motivation is the most important question in scripting, right?
Yep.
To that point, right? Colin's never sold a house before, but he's been around me long enough. He's heard these conversations. I absolutely love it because I tell agents all the time, mm-hmm. Don't get stuck on the house. I don't give a shit what they say they're looking for in a house. Mm-hmm. I don't care. Not that I don't care as a human being.
Right.
For the sales process, I don't care. Mm-hmm. What do I care about? What is their motivation in buying or selling real estate? Why is it important to them? Mm-hmm. Do they have a family that's relying on it? Do they have a timeline? Do they have urgency? What is their motivation? And once you understand their motivation or their why, as Colin said, you can help guide them through this process. But too many people get stuck on trying to find the quote unquote perfect property or whatever it may be. We're on a huge tangent. This is great, but let's go back. I want to get more tactical on this question because I don't want people, there may be people saying, well, Matt, that's cop out. Ask more questions. Yeah. That's a cop out. So let's say you ask all of those questions and they still have a legitimate objection. Mm-hmm. The last question I would ask is, Colin, so what is your plan specifically for interest rates to drop by X% that you told me? Mm-hmm. When that happens, are you ready to buy at that time? Mm. And they'll be like, well, I don't know, maybe. Okay, what else is in the way? Mm-hmm. You know what, Colin, are you open to some coaching at this moment? Can I give you just some awareness that has helped other clients that are in a similar situation like you?
Sure.
But I've done this after I've asked questions.
Right, you built up.
Are you open to me sharing some things that have worked with other clients that are in a very similar situation as you?
Yeah, I'd love to learn a lesson without having to get the scar.
Awesome. So let's actually sit down and let's develop a plan. Mm-hmm. So here's some data, and I recently did some videos on this, but like here's data for our marketplace. I know our marketplace. I don't know yours. But Colin, here's some facts about the marketplace. Interest rates are the highest that they've been in 22 years. Were you aware of that?
I was not aware.
They're the highest they've been in 22 years. So interest rates are high. Mm-hmm. So you're concerned about interest rates? Absolutely, you should have it. And I understand. Second thing, inventory. Do you know what home inventory is?
It's something to do with how many homes are available.
It's how many homes are active and available for you as a buyer to purchase on the market.
Got it.
So as a national stat, the number of available homes is at half of what is a typical real estate market. Were you aware of that?
I was not aware.
So why do you think that is?
I don't really follow trends. I just
completely understand. That's what I'm here for.
Highlights, yeah.
That's what I'm here for. So if you're open to it, I'm happy to educate you on that. But I want to ask you. You understand supply and demand, right? So what if I were to tell you nothing but, hey, interest rates are the highest they've been in 22 years, number of sales are cut in almost half, number of inventories almost half the number of available homes for sale, would you think home prices would be going up or going down? Not to mention, before you answer, we are in a recession and the economy is crashing. There's all these, the sky is falling everywhere, right? What would you think home prices would be doing?
I would think they'd be going up.
You think they'd be going up? Most people would think they'd be going down. When you're in interest rates are really high, meaning you're going to have to pay more for the house.
Yeah.
Right? So if the house is the same cost that it was 3 years ago, you're paying significantly more money just because of interest, right? That's part of why less homes are selling. And so with all of that, you would think that maybe home prices would be decreasing, but the exact opposite is what's happening. As a matter of fact, in our local market, despite interest rates rising in the last year by, I don't know the exact points, but 4%, whatever it may be, they've over doubled. Interest rates have doubled, which means it affects your payment on the median price X amount of dollars, whatever that number.
Right.
I think it's like $450 per month in our market, something to that effect.
Yeah.
Like it's significant. It may be even more than that actually. But give them that actual number. And so knowing all of that and knowing that home prices should be probably decreasing, what if I told you that home prices increased by 12% year over year, despite all those factors?
Then that makes me wonder, when is the best time to buy?
Yeah. So if interest rates are going to increase that significantly and home prices are still going to increase that significantly, 12% year over year, Colin, just so you know, in our marketplace, that's about $30,000. It's a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So the homes have gotten worth $30,000 more in the marketplace while interest rates have doubled. Now, you are relying on, and you told me that you think interest rates are going to drop, and I agree with you. I think they will. What's going to happen when interest rates drop?
Well, I imagine more than one person would want to buy a house.
There's so many people thinking just like you. And so I call it shadow demand. It's pent up shadow demand. There are so many people right now that are sitting on the sidelines of the real estate market waiting to see where the dust settles before they make a decision to transact. And so I just shared with you that interest rates are highest they've been in 22 years. Let's say that interest rates drop. Let's say they take a big drop. Let's say they drop to your number. Let's say they drop to 5%, whatever your number was. Do you think you're going to have more competition or less competition?
Probably everyone who's waiting for interest rates to drop is going to jump on the bandwagon.
Yes.
And if not as many houses are available, that means there's going to be a ton of fighting over homes.
There you go. 100%. And I totally agree with you. And so what do you think that's going to do to the already increasing home values? They're going to skyrocket.
Yeah.
They are going to absolutely explode. And Colin, the worst thing that I would like to have the worst thing that could happen to you is that you decide to wait, which you can make that decision,
right?
But you decide to wait, and then you can't get into that home because the prices are too high, the competition is too much, and there's too many things that you could miss out on. I would hate for that to happen. As an example, we had several clients whenever the COVID pandemic market was going crazy. There was multiple offers on properties everywhere. People were waiving inspections. There was cash offers left and right, and there was people offering 20-25% over asking price for properties. Like, it was just insane. I believe, based upon all this data, that that's going to happen again. And so could you get a better interest rate if you wait? Absolutely. But interest rate is not the only factor to consider when buying a home. And so you're going to be paying more for that property. And what if I told you we actually had a program that you could get 3% less than the market interest rate right now at no cost to you?
I'm interested.
Right? So that's a buy down, right?
Right.
Like almost every lender offers it. And in addition to that, we have lenders that we partner with that offer a refinance for free. Right. And so, Colin, I think there's many clients like you, and we've had clients that have done this. I've had this conversation, real conversation. Many clients are in a similar situation with you. What they have decided is, I'm going to go ahead and buy now while prices are low, because we do believe prices are going to increase significantly. I'm going to take advantage of the buy down program and get a lower interest rate. So I'm going to get the house cheaper, and I'm going to get a better interest rate. And then when the interest rates do drop, guess what? I'll refinance for free. So I get the house cheaper and I get the lower interest rate. I get a win-win situation. I don't have to worry about the competition. Is that something you would like to be interested in building a plan on?
Heck yeah, let's do it. Like,
Right.
I mean, I have no more objections at that point. You've met me. You've mirrored my concerns. You didn't tell me, oh, don't worry about that. That's not a really that big of a deal. You've confirmed them. You went in depth on them and then went, here's why, or here's what things are headed. And here's some really strong reasoning why you should act now. And here's some things to help.
Yep. And I tied it to other success stories.
Yeah.
Like that's why I started with the questions and because I want to take people through that whole process, right?
Yeah.
And I went very in depth. A real conversation probably wouldn't hit all of those data points, but for role play and for sharing here, I just wanted to share all the data points of just give you ammunition to get through that objection. And there still will be people at the end of that who are like, I kind of get it, but I just don't think it's for me. Completely understand. Here's a quick pro forma and a plan that I built for you to go and look at to see what's going to happen in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months based upon the projections and the data that we shared about for you to go home and think about.
Yeah.
What that shows, we built a spreadsheet for this. What that shows is in 12 months, we believe home values are going to increase 15, 20%, whatever that number is for your marketplace. And if interest rates are where the Fed projects them to be, right, which is a 1% drop, 1.5%, whatever that number is, you're actually going to be paying not only more for the house, but more monthly payment if you wait 12 months from now. So why would it be smart for you to wait, right? And so I just think just building that plan and having people have that plan to take with them really, really helps with that. Awesome, guys. I hope you found this episode very helpful. I know for a fact that this stuff works. We are doing this. I have done this personally. I'm coaching other people to do it. So I hope you found this valuable. I hope that this will help you in your marketplace. If you have questions on this, I'm here to help. This is a movement to give back. So if you have specific questions on this, please reach out to us. We're happy to help, happy to dive in. But thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for listening. If you found value from this episode, if you found value from this movement, all I ask is for one thing, just share this with a friend. We do this to give back. I do this to help people. We've been doing this for a year and a half now?
At least, yeah.
And so I love doing it. It's a passion project of mine, but I truly believe that more people need to hear it. And so many of you have left us reviews, have reached out and said, hey, this was great. I really love this episode. And so I love the support. Just keep sharing the message for us. I think people need to hear this. And what's different about this is proven, not theory, especially today. This is stuff that is in the trenches. We are doing this real life. This wasn't, hey, I think this might work.
Right.
This is the shit that is working right now, today, in today's marketplace.
And on that note, if you have questions similar to this one, because you're in the trenches out there, comment on our Facebook, send us a message, DM us on Instagram. We're here to help with this kind of thing. Because like Matt said, it's his passion. So anything that you've got a question on, we'd be happy to help with.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening. Colin, thank you as always.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you guys next time.